and welcome back to Brilliant Minds, where we are brains, banter, and being human. We are two licensed therapists, but we're not going to be your therapist today, as with every episode. I'm Andrea, and this is my co host.
Olivia.
Hello, guys. Fun
Hey.
fact, Olivia just told me she is using her official therapy book, the DSM, as a microphone holder.
I can neither confirm or deny.
See, guys, therapists, unserious, I promise.
Yeah, for real. Um, I you gotta use what works, you know?
Mhm.
And I needed my mic to be a little bit higher. And the best thing within grabbing distance was Old Faithful,
You know what?
the one I'm
I
in a love-hate relationship with.
I can't tell you where mine is right now. I'm pretty sure it's
Um,
inside my desk, but again, cannot confirm nor deny it's actually in my desk.
I actually end up using it more frequently than I would have thought when I entered the field.
Yeah. We will have an episode on the DSM and we will have to dive into what it means to have a love-hate relationship with the DSM.
Yeah, we really should do an episode on that for sure. I think that it's a long time coming, and that might be a long episode.
That might be like a part 1, part 2 situation where we just have to like cut ourselves off after like an hour and then
Yeah, right. So one of the things we were going to talk about today was goals that we have for our business, for ourselves as therapists, for the podcast, kind of do New Year's resolution adjacent because we both don't really like New Year's resolutions. We think
right.
they're kind of garbage. I said what I said.
Yep.
Um, Better yet, I think one of the goals we should have for the podcast is to have a couple of guests on this next year
Yeah.
or this year, I guess when the episode comes out this year. The
Yes.
DSM would be a great topic to have one of our colleagues on for. I think that would be
Yeah.
so fun.
I totally agree. I can think of just a handful of people already that would be so fun to talk to about the DSM. Not weird therapists, because remember, we are weird therapist prevention in this space. So the people we will be bringing in are not weird therapists.
Best believe. I think that would also be such a fun topic to revisit with each guest that we
Mm,
have on. We could ask
yeah.
DSM related questions of like, what's your most used diagnosis and why? Or like, what's your least favorite? Or like, what would
Where
you
do you
add to
keep
the
your
DSM? Where do you
where would
keep
you
your
keep your
DSM?
DSM?
Yeah, I think that would be great. We should do that. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely one of the goals for the podcast is to have a couple of guests on. We know some people, they're pretty cool. And I think it'd be really fun to bring them on and like make it the real deal.
I totally agree. I mean, that's kind of the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about growing this podcast, growing our business is building our community. We talk about this all the time, right? Is like growing, but like growing our community, growing our little network. And like that's in our podcast, that's also in our business, and bringing on people that we trust and care about and that care about us, I think is really important to us.
Yeah, I think we have such a cool network of people that we know that we've worked with. And honestly, I think any way to highlight those people, either through our business, the podcast, whatever the case may be, I definitely want to do. Because I think both of us have really experienced like the firsthand benefit of knowing and being connected with so many cool people in the field and them having our backs and like wanting to kind of pay that forward too in a way. So as much as I think we can highlight the people that we know and are networked with and they're like so cool, I am all on board doing for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you and I alone have been through so much this year, but I think we owe a lot of where we are right now to our community. And
Absolutely.
we know, like, we have not probably a more than a handful right now of cheerleaders just like chilling in the background, just like ready to see what we do next. And this podcast was one of them for us. And I think we jumped into it and are having so much fun with this, but also growing our business and having those little cheerleaders all in the back being like, let's go.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's really
Yeah.
fun. Do you think this year in the business we can officially launch a merch line?
I want to so bad.
Me too. Like it's such a funny thing,
Yeah.
but I would love to have a merch. Like so like in so many ways, absolutely useless, completely sidebar, doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But I still want it so
Yeah.
bad. To have a
Yeah.
merch, like, why? I don't know, but we have to have one.
Well, I think you and I have such wild one-liners and, like, shit that we say that I think people would just love to see, like, on a hat, on a tote bag, right? Like, "Oh my gosh, a green gambling tote bag to bring to, like, the thrift store with you? Perfect."
That, and I'm not saying we're the best, but I think we both really love being creative and
Yeah.
designing things and making things look really cute or aesthetic.
Mhm. For sure.
And we've talked about this before. I haven't talked about this on the podcast yet, but because we're obviously going to have collections in our merch.
Mhm.
One of
Mhm.
the collections I'm like most excited about that I've had this idea for years and just been like, well, maybe eventually, is I want to have a collection that's specific for like new moms or like postpartum or parenthood.
I
And
love
that like
that.
some of the proceeds go to, like
Oh, yeah.
helping a community or whatever. But I
Yeah.
want to make sweatshirts or shirts or whatever that say MILF anxiety and MILF depression. Like so bad, or like MILF insomnia. Like
Yeah.
I need those shirts to exist in the world
I
and
love
like to
this.
highlight that somebody's like newly in postpartum,
Yeah. Yeah.
newly into becoming a mom,
Well,
and
that's
that it's not postpartum anxiety, it's MILF anxiety.
I love that, and I love that that's not, like, your traditional, like, mama tired shirt. Like
Uh, or like mama bear shirt. But
yeah.
if you want to see me
No.
immediately barf, get me a mama bear shirt.
Well, I guess I need to return my Christmas gift. Just kidding. Um, no, I love that idea. I think that that's really fun. I think that we have a lot of, like, neurodivergent ideas too. Like, I've always wanted to
Mm.
make, like, a sticker book or something that's like, you might be autistic or, like, you might be ADHD type stickers where you can just, like, go around and stick them on people.
That cued my brain. This is something that my daughter does that I'm like, why aren't there adult versions of this? Is those sticker activity books where you have pages of stickers and then pages where you're supposed to put those stickers, the outline.
Mhm.
It's so stupid, but I would love to do one of those.
Yeah. No, that sounds like a blast. I wonder how you make those because 'Cause they're like a unique material, aren't they? Like they're or am
Not
I just,
really.
like,
It's just
stuck
a
in the '90s?
page.
Really?
No, yeah,
Okay.
it's just a page. And they just
Well,
print out stickers. We always should do. Okay, next on the merch that just fountain of ideas right now that you have like unlocked. It's like
love
a
this.
treasure chest and it's like glowing. Okay, we do a like neurodivergent like adult activity book
Mhm.
and it's geared towards do I like am I neurodivergent? And each page is like ADHD or like a different diagnosis and then there's stickers related to like different symptoms. And so like one page is like
Oh
about
my gosh.
ADHD and like forgetting like do you forget your keys, your wallet, your phone? And you literally have like stickers of all those things. You have
The
to like
keys in
place
the
it on the
wallet.
page.
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't that be so good? And then like on the like spectrum page, it could be like all the different things that like are sensory nightmares.
Yeah. Or
Like
even,
there's a
like,
sticker of
the
wet socks.
yes. Have you seen the do you know, like, the neurodivergent love languages too? Like, we could have, like, a page of the, like,
Oh, that'll be
pebbles, like,
fun.
pebbling and parallel play type things, like, we could kinda do stuff with that. You guys, you're hearing and you're seeing live brainstorming right now.
We
And
will
keep in
create
mind, we
all of
don't
the
even have
merch.
sponsors. We don't have sponsors for this podcast, we have not yet monetized this podcast.
We're living off of pure vibes, as per usual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think that's worth it. I think that's what's, gonna make this podcast get even better as we go along. Like, I think it's gonna be
so
great.
true. Do
Yeah.
you have any I'm asking this question because I have one in mind for myself that I want to continue, but do you have any like professional goals for yourself in this like new year?
For this year, not I don't know if they're necessarily they're kind of a mix of professional and personal. Like, I think I want to feel confident in being a business owner. Like, I think
Mm,
that's a little mix of both. I mean, I think I am getting more and more confident, and I'm confident in my photography business ownery vibes, but, like, this feels so big and so different and compared to that to me. So I wanna be able to, like, feel totally confident, and it's not that I'm not good at this or that, like, I don't feel confident in us. That's not true at all. But just, like,
right.
the internal system of, like, being able to say, "I am a business owner. I own a group practice," like, or whatever we're gonna end up being, a collective, whatever. I wanna feel like I believe that 100%. So I have that. And then
Mm,
another one that I kind of have alongside that is I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the podcast before. I'm writing a neurodivergent wedding planning workbook. And I've been working on this for a couple of weeks now or a couple of months now. And I'm making like a one for nearly weds, but I'm also making one for wedding vendors. So people like wedding photographers, wedding planners, people like that to be more neurodivergent and disability informed. And that's something that I want to put out there. Like I wanna do it by the end of January, but I don't think that's gonna happen with my ADHD brain. But that's kind of like a mix of personal and professional.
yeah. I love that. That's very cool.
I think it's cool that, like, you also had this, like, MILF idea, this, like, mom and postpartum idea, and I'm over here, like, steps back of, like, "Let's get you married." Like, I think together, like, that combo of stuff is really cool.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that works really well in us working together is we bounce off of each other really well in terms of new ideas and being creative, but we also have very different strengths. And so I would generally say I feel pretty confident in what I'm doing in terms of the business. She's like,
Mhm.
yeah, we'll figure it out. Like, I got this. It's all good. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's a strength. And that's something that I think will come in time for you. Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of creativity that you have that I don't have because that's just not the way my brain fires, which is totally fine. And so I rely on you for those things more
Yeah.
than you rely on me. I like go in and punctuate things correctly, and that's about what I add to like the things you create. Like a
But it
format, nope, backspace one.
your analytical brain in that though is so helpful, and it does help me feel more confident in what it is, like but you're right, we bounce off of each other so well because like, I can whip up a logo in 2 seconds, right? But, like but I
But
am
I'm gonna tell you if it looks too busy, or if the
exactly.
color needs to change, or the font is bad, or yeah.
Or if the, like, L has an extra space next to it or whatever, like, I'm not great at seeing those things all the time, and I know that. So,
Yeah,
it's
that's
kind
fair.
of how and why we work so well together.
Yeah, pro tip for anyone out there is if you're in private practice or thinking about going private practice, obviously, one, what we mentioned earlier to think about network, have your people, know your people, invest, and really develop those relationships because they've ended up being so critical, I think, for us in ways that maybe we didn't understand or realize until really fully this year.
Yeah.
And not saying this should be what everyone does. However, starting a private practice with like your best friend is one of the smartest and best things you could do.
Yeah.
Because starting
Yeah.
a practice is challenging. Like going private
Mhm.
practice can be a tough transition no matter where you're transitioning from.
Yeah.
But to be able to do it alongside somebody, even if it's somebody that you're connected with in the field and you're just like colleagues, that's great. But also remind reminding people out there that you can start a business with somebody and you don't have to scale it to be anything different other than just like you guys seeing clients, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But there's so much benefit in doing it with somebody and, like you said, creating that community.
Yeah, and we're not even talking about just our personal experience, right? Like, we've
Yeah,
met,
yeah, truly.
we were able to meet another 2 practice owners who are in a partnership and create a connection, and their, business goals are a little bit different than ours, but it was really nice to be like, "Okay, yeah, we're not alone in this, and, like, this was a good choice." It's just this added, like, "Yeah, this is cool, like, we can do this. It's a greatest idea to do this as a buddy system."
Truly, truly.
Yeah. What are your professional goals or your whatever goals?
It sounds silly in comparison to your goal.
What?
Okay, which is my goal is to continue taking a lunch this year.
Yes.
So I've been working really hard on this, which
Yeah.
is previously because we talked about this before on the podcast. The benefit is you get to create your own schedule, which is really
Mhm.
lovely. Something that I did is I just packed my days just straight and I never took a lunch really. Now, you could see how that falls apart relatively quickly. So I won't go into how that falls apart. Y'all can figure
Mhm.
that out. But a couple of months ago, when we transitioned to being in this private practice realm, I was like, you know what? I'm really going to try to create an actual lunch every day. And if it's not exactly the same time every day, okay, that's fine. Like it can be flexible here and there. But generally, I'm going to try to take a lunch every day that I work.
Yeah.
I've been pretty good about it. There's been a few days here and there I've not been good, just trying to squeeze everyone in. But generally, I've been really good about it. Like, I'm so glad I take that time
Yay.
because it is really helpful for me to step away for a second, reset, intentionally, like, eat something. It's usually not a full-blown lunch, but that is
I
my biggest goal for
have
this next year. It's, like,
I
to keep
have
doing it.
noticed that because okay, you guys, a little bit of context here. Um, I feel like we need a sound for context. I do this thing because we have Google Calendar in our Google business thing. I do this thing that I, called a long time ago a calendar hug,
You still do
and
this?
yes, I do.
That makes
I
me
used to
that's so funny to me.
I used to do this in our old practice because, like, we were so packed all the time, and, like, we would have to try to find time to meet and meet with our boss at the time, and so I would do these things, and I started calling them calendar hugs, because in Google Calendar, you can, like they, like, put the 2 calendars, jam them all together, and it's kinda fun. And at our old job, Olivia's calendar color was this, like, fire engine
Red.
red that was
Yeah,
so
it was awful.
stressful, and I would always notice that for her that she didn't have a lunch scheduled, but that was something I was very good at. But now I've noticed when I do a calendar hug because I wanna feel close to you with our schedules, that Olivia has little blocks scheduled in there for, like, time away, and that it's gonna sound really cheesy. I'm really proud of you for that, and your calendar hug is not fire engine red, and it is not stressful anymore.
Yay. Did you also notice that all of my lunches have a question mark, though? On my
We're
calendar.
working
It's
on
like,
it.
"Lunch?"
We'll get
I don't
there.
know. Could be.
But yes, I still do calendar hugs. Yes, I have noticed that you are scheduling in breaks, even if they have a question mark, like everything else that we have in this business.
You you're giving off such strong mom vibes. It's very sweet.
Oh, I've never been told I have mom vibes.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, next up, MILF shirt.
that's pretty funny. And I wanna try to coin calendar hug, so
I think you
that's out there.
should. I think it's very sweet. I don't know how
Yeah.
many people do that already with, like, other coworkers or whatever. Because 'cause I'm sure you can do that with other calendar systems. I'm positive, so I
Yeah.
wonder.
Okay, well, leave a comment if you do calendar hugs at your job.
Tag the person you do a calendar hug with.
Well, I love that idea. Like, honestly, even at our old job, you were the only person I did it with. I think I would occasionally do it with our admin, but, like, they never had anything.
I'm glad we were monogamous without me knowing.
Yeah. Yeah, we were. But, I mean,
That is so funny to me.
I digress in that, but also, like, that actually truly is a very good goal, especially, when we think about being an entrepreneur, because that is what we are, you get that freedom and that flexibility to do that, but so many of us do tend to forget that we are allowed to schedule lunches, that we are allowed to say, like, "I'm gonna take this hour and go eat, go for a walk," whatever it is, so you're allowed to do that.
I'm nailing it.
You are, you're crushing it.
One of my other goals, which is more just petty and funny to me, is that I get to let my Idaho license lapse this year. And I'm so excited because I don't want or need it anymore. And I don't have to pay that fee. So I'm really excited about that. That's a really big goal of mine. And what's lovely about that goal is I have to do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Ugh. One of these days, I wish we could go into our lore, that's down the line, but
And what?
our career lore could really get some people going.
Knowing you as well as I do, I have no idea how to interpret that statement.
I know.
What does
Go
that
to
even mean?
go to YouTube to see my eyebrows. I guess what I mean is that, like, I mean, it's traumatic, and maybe there are people out there that could relate to our last couple years of work and feel some validation around the career field, but the statute of limitations stands, and we have to wait to talk about certain things.
I thought you were more talking about our professional glow up because I was going to say, yeah, that's pretty good. Given our age, where we're
Uh,
at in the field, we're doing
yeah,
unbelievable.
totally. This is the professional glow up, though. It's the lore behind the glow up that's the story.
Yeah, there'll always be lore. We're just exciting and mysterious people, all rolled into one.
This is true. This is true. I love
Uh,
it.
do we have any other goals for the business that we think we can do this year? Goals for the podcast?
I mean, really basic goals. I would love to have more listeners to get monetized, to maybe add an ad in here. I think that would be really exciting to
Oh, and just like bug the shit out of anyone that listens to us
Yeah,
is have an ad
exactly.
instead. Perfect.
I mean, my goal for that is, like, if we once I'm gonna put this out there, once we get ads or kind of sponsors, that they are things that we truly value and that are, things that we would actually use or like, give to people or, like, I don't wanna just I was listening to a podcast this morning and they had an Allstate commercial, and I was like, "Okay, like, I'm not gonna
You
switch
don't
to Allstate because I heard this on a podcast."
you don't believe in Allstate?
I mean, I've never used them. I don't know. But, like,
I've heard they have really good hands.
I don't know how to recover from that. I had something I was gonna say, and it doesn't even
Yeah, it
top
doesn't
that.
even work anymore, does it?
Damn it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, if we could get, like, a Nido sponsor, like the fidgets, Nido, I'd be so happy.
I
You good?
My brain initially went to Speedo.
Wow. The end of the year's treating us well. Beginning
I
of
would
the year.
also be okay with the Speedo sponsors.
I would be okay with more unhinged sponsors than more so I'm down. I'm down for that.
You gotta keep people guessing. That's something that I think is actually a family trait that runs through my family, is we like to do the unexpected thing. We don't like to be
Mm,
predictable to other people.
mhm.
It's like part of our sparkle, I guess, and I
Yeah.
definitely feel like I fall within that category of not trying actively most of the time, but just being a person you can't really put into a box.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I w I I like that a lot. Well, and I think that's what we want this to be, right, is that we kinda want it to be different. We don't want to be like those other therapist podcasts out there.
please God, no. One of my other goals, kind of business, kind of personal, but mostly in the business realm, is kind of tacking on a little bit to like building more community, is just expanding our network, not just investing in the people that have invested in us and
Mhm,
building that up, but also trying to make more connections, specifically around other business owners and practice owners and what they're doing. And one of the things that we're both really passionate about that I want to be able to keep doing is being at least active enough in this community around being transparent and being open to meeting and talking and sharing information and just really being open about our experience and the barriers that you might come across and the things that you should consider, because I think that's so important and really beneficial. And there's a lot of new people continuing to come into the field. And there's
mhm.
so much misinformation out there that I think the more we can network and the more we can put ourselves out there in terms of just like sharing information and talking with people, I definitely want to do. I know, again, like, that's something that we're both really passionate about, and I know both of us drop of a hat if somebody's like, "Hey, can I, like, meet with you and ask you questions about whatever?" We'd be like, "Absolutely, like, let's do it." And it
Mhm.
would never be something that we would charge for
Right.
or take really seriously to the point where it'd be, like, some professional thing, but just being like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, like, this is what I went through, and this is what you should think about, and these are the questions you should ask," and, um, I think, like, the more we can invest in that, I think the better. Like, that's something that we
Mhm.
both really love, and I
Yep.
think is so needed in the field right now with new people coming into the field and so
Yeah.
many practices out there and so much misinformation and confusion, and everyone does things a little bit differently, and so, yeah, that's something that I wanna keep investing in the new year for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I would agree with that, and I think that you and I also, one of the things that we talked about was what do we want this or, like, early on was what do we want Brilliant Minds Wellness to become? And a lot of it did have to do with growing that network and growing community in a sense, whether that's within our wellness collective or outside of that. And that, has a lot to do with that piece too, is we don't ever wanna just hire a bunch of people that we'd, just to build our business. We wanna be really intentional about that community and really intentional about who we're helping and how we're helping and what we're doing, and whether that's, bringing on employees or bringing on additional service providers or, just creating a network on our website and resources, like, that is that is kind of at the core of what collective means for us is community and network.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love that about us. Cheers to us, you know?
Yeah, seriously.
I've had something burning at the back of my brain to talk to you about, but is it too early to rabbit trail?
No, not at all.
Okay, so I learned about something and it's not that this isn't information that's potentially widely known. I just didn't know it, which I thought was really bizarre.
Okay.
Here's the background. I'm a gamer. I really like to game. I've been gaming for a really long time. I just learned this week for the first time ever. Again, this is probably something that like so many other people know, and I just didn't know, and I don't know how you didn't know it. Anyways, it's blowing my brain. That's why I had to talk about it. There are a lot of gaming companies that hire economists to work on their games. And the reason why is because a lot of games have in game currency.
Fascinating. That makes sense.
And because the in game currency isn't tied to any specific value, it's just getting created and created and created, and there's nothing to back the currency.
Why do I feel like we're getting into a conspiracy theory here?
It's not. It's truly not.
What?
It's truly not. I
Okay.
just never thought about it before, but they have to come up with like real time values to in game currency to make the economy of the currency in games sustainable.
That's fascinating.
Right. Never would have thought about it before, but once I heard it, it totally makes sense. Also, shout out to my best friend who's an economist who told me this, who's also a gamer. That's how I found out. And he was got way
Ah,
into the weeds about it, but it was super
okay.
interesting. And I thought it was so cool that
Wow.
video games need economists to stable, like to make
Yeah.
their economy stable in their games.
That's really fascinating, actually.
Yeah, he also talked about the different ways they do that. I cannot even come
You're
close to
like,
regurgitating that
nope.
information. It made sense when he talked about it. I couldn't give it to the masses at this point,
Right.
but I just thought it was so interesting
Ah,
and so cool.
yeah.
And yeah, shout out to people who play video games because there's a lot more that goes into video games than I think generally people realize. But even myself as a gamer, like
Right.
I would have never thought you
Right.
would need a economist at
Yeah,
a
that's so
gaming company.
interesting. I mean, one of my favorite pastimes. One of the things that I find really interesting is like who like the team behind certain types of media. So like in specific,
Mm,
I really like looking at how movies are made, but from like a like who's all part of the team system thing. Like the movie Inside Out is a really perfect example of this actually. I got really into looking into what it took to make that movie, and they actually had psychologists, psychiatrists and therapists in like as part of their team to make this movie because it like needed all the background. And I recently listened to an interview of Mariska Hargitay, who's the Law and Order lady, Law and Order SVU to clarify. And she legitimately went and got like a rape and domestic violence peer counselor certificate to be able to like really be able to play her character. And I find things like that really fascinating where it's kind of like this
Mm,
economist thing where you don't really think about what it takes to play a character or to be a part of a video game or whatever. But there are these like things like that that you wouldn't ever think of until you hear it. It's so interesting to me.
yeah, yeah.
I
There's
love it.
also somewhat related that I also found really interesting that I was gonna tell you about, and this is obviously the best forum to do that, is something somewhat similar in another game. There was a pandemic that broke out that they weren't expecting, and it was in World of Warcraft. It was WoW, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure. I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly when, and I'm sure other people could speak to this so much better than me. But here's like very brief synopsis. There was a mission or quest, whatever, that only like high level people could do. And in this mission, you would get cursed. And when you defeated the boss, you would get cleansed from the curse. What happened was everyone got cleansed, but their animals didn't. But the animals were asymptomatic. The animals passed it to lower level characters, animals, and then the lower level characters got it. But because they weren't cleansed and had no ability to get cleansed because they were a lower level, their
Mhm.
characters started dying off in the game.
That's
This is
fascinating.
actually this actually happened within the game to the point where they had to hire like different people in the field that study.
Like epidemics.
Yes, like an
What is that?
epidemiologist.
Yeah, that. I was like, there's a word for that.
Yeah. They literally had to hire one to help solve it because what happened is the disease carried over characters. So even when people's characters died and they restarted with a different character, they would still have it.
That's
And
so
they like
trippy.
they set up quarantines in this game and like people had it and they did it and they had all this like flags. Like there's a whole culture and like thing that developed in this game just because of this disease. Isn't that so wild? Like again, I'm probably completely butchering how this all played out, but just like the idea that in video games something could play out
Yeah.
like that is so
Yeah.
interesting to me. I think that's just so cool.
That's so fascinating. And that kind of reminds me of that game or that movie with Ryan Reynolds. What's that movie? Got Hi
Oh, game
Guy?
over?
Is that the one where he's like a video game character? He's just like a
I
what's
haven't
that?
seen it, but I know the one that you're talking about. I just can't remember the
Yeah.
name of it.
Yeah. It's like I mean, there's more layers to that, but essentially like a character like goes rogue in the game kind of, but there is some vein of reality in that. And then there's like a game behind the game that still exists because they built the game on top of another game. Like so interesting to think about how games can evolve like that. Kind of freaks me out to think of it that way, actually, but fine.
Do you have any rabbit trails for me?
I do, and it's a hard left turn.
Of course it is, because why wouldn't it be?
I do. It's a real hard left turn. I have a handful of friends that are pregnant and all due in the spring. And I'm like, cool, cool, cool. This is great for me. But I went down the funniest rabbit hole last night on Amazon of baby onesies that were all puns. And
I love that.
just thinking about these baby onesies and these like funny statements, like there was one that said made in vagina, and it was a barcode. And then there was another one that said, oh shoot, hold on. I'm gonna butcher it if I don't. Oh, I came from nuttin'. And then the other one that I actually think I might be getting one of my friends says, don't touch me, peasant.
That's perfect.
Yeah. And
Actually,
then there
all of them are perfect.
right? And then there was another one that was like it said al dente on it, and it was like this whole gift package that said al dente, and then it was like a children's book of pasta shapes, and then it, like, also would, like, gave the parents, like, a thing of fancy pasta. I was like, "Well, that's what I'm getting for my friend because they love Italy, and they go to Italy, and they've done, like, they make their own pasta, like, they're fancy people. So that's what I'm gonna get. But the puns were so funny. There was another one that had, like, a doodle of boobs, and it said, "Eat local." And I was in tears last night, and I was like, "What? These are so funny." And I just kept scrolling, and I was like, "These are so good."
That's hilarious. I love a good pun. I think those are hilarious.
Same.
Eat local, also gold. That's
Right?
perfect.
Right?
Also gives me an idea for the MILF collection is making a onesie that says MILF lover.
Full circle moment with my rabbit trail here. I love this. Oh, it was so funny. I was just like, I just kept adding onesies to my cart because I was like, I can't decide. These are all hilarious. And like, my
I
friends have
love that.
similar senses of humor to me. It's a little bit crude, it's a little bit like goofy. So I know that they're going to enjoy these things, but I'm like, this is wild. The market for funny onesies is perfect.
What a time. What a
Yeah.
time. I remember when I was pregnant, maternity clothes, kind of adjacent, were like really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maternity clothes are like really bad. And then you go to the baby section and everything is so cute.
Mhm. Mhm. I
Man,
know. Yeah. I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna be end up spending so much money on these children that I'm not even gonna get to meet for a while."
it's hard. It really
Yeah.
is hard not to buy all of the baby clothes when you know
I
somebody
know.
that's having a baby because the baby
I
clothes are
know.
so stinking cute.
I know. It's, like, kinda fun to play with, like, colors and silliness on that, and, it my friend that's having a baby, like, one of them, she's an attorney, and so I'm like, "What kind of funny pun can I make with, like, law and babies?" Like, can I make a custom one?
I'm sure you could.
I'm sure I could. The rabbit hole that I went down with these onesies last night, if my husband wasn't asleep, he'd be like, "Are you good?" It was wild. So,
I have those every once in a while where like I'll be scrolling and all of a sudden I'll see like a really funny video and because I'm like laughing really hard at it and like watch it a couple times and then keep
yeah.
scrolling, the algorithm's like, "Oh, you found that funny?" And then it's just the next 20 minutes is just funny video after funny video after funny video and I feel like I'm going psychotic because everything is funny.
Yes. Yes. LJ went down one of those the other day. He saw this one video and it was a statement, and then at the end, it just, like, stops. It's like dot, 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 and then it's a music video, and the first word of the music video finishes the statement. So he just, like, kept watching these, and he was dying, and I was like, "These are so dumb," but they are, like s but he was just in tears. He thought they were so funny, and then it just was, like, one music video after another, after another, after another, and I was like, "Oh, no."
The algorithm can get you so good sometimes.
I know. Well, now I'm getting baby onesies on all my algorithms, so
There are worse things,
I
clearly, because
know.
these onesies are hilarious.
They're so funny. I will have to like share them because they're so good. I'm usually when I know someone that's having a baby or it's like a kid's birthday, I'm usually the person that buys the books. And then like, because I think that books are really important and that's just kind of my thing. But I was like, I nope, it's a onesie this time.
You're branching out.
I'm branching out.
Oh my goodness. Well, Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah. Happy
Good
New
luck on your
Year.
goals and good luck on your New Year's resolutions if you do that.
Yeah. We're not even gonna get into that. We don't need to.
Yeah, absolutely not. We just got to figure out what to name this episode. That's probably going to be the harder part.
Growth? Question mark?
Again, for a split second, thought you said gross.
That's
Okay, I think
okay.
that's enough from both of us. I
Oh.
think that's enough for both of us.
Well, thank you all for tuning in today. Please don't forget to share, rate, subscribe, comment, all the things that you do for us. We love you all. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year.
Yeah, happy New Year, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, health, tax, or professional advice. Always consult a licensed professional for specific advice related to your situation.
And just a quick note to all you listeners, yes, we're real therapists, but please remember this podcast isn't therapy. We're here to share ideas, have some laughs, and maybe make you think. Just maybe. But being a listener doesn't replace therapy. If you need mental health support, please see a licensed professional in your area. And if you're in crisis, call or text 988 in the US.